So I like the idea of pathways. So like me personally, I'm gonna be a doctor, and like maybe like a med pathway where like you kind of have that concentration that your freshman year, and you kind of build off that with your med. You take your bios, all those classes that help with getting into a college, or like business, you'd like business or something like that, or history. You can take those classes that really focus on that.
I think that it would be beneficial to the whole high school if we had more career readiness after high school, depending on whatever path you'd like to take. That would benefit. I know we have home living, but stuff like that. And if I had to personally create my own class, I'm interested in the medical field, so maybe like an AP anatomy class or like a medical class, just something like that.
Even though it's kind of controversial, I'd love to see a class focused on utilizing artificial intelligence and seeing how that's become such a huge component in modern day society. Kids, they can be prepared for their future, because I know a lot of people use it in college and whatnot.
Photography. There was no photography class when my freshman year, since they got rid of it the year before, and I really enjoy photography. I love taking photos like when I'm traveling or on vacation, and I always like to know like how to edit them better and do other stuff with photos that I'm not really familiar with. And I feel like that class would be very popular since a lot of kids enjoy doing the same.
A new class or program I definitely want to see at Westport High would be like a medical program for students that are interested in the medical field. I feel like we're lacking in that kind of like vocational opportunities and options, and it can also increase like the student retention that we keep in the school as opposed to kids leaving for other vocational schools. And I think it's definitely a high demand career, anything in medicine, and I think it can help a lot of people on their way to becoming a doctor or nurse, anything in that field.
I think if students had a bigger voice in school decisions, I believe they would choose to dictate more of their classes to fit their interests better, so they could fulfill their interests and just focus on things that specifically benefit them.
More class options. What I mean by that is, for example, when they made the schedule change a few years ago, they changed the block to the period, and they didn't really ask the students, for the most part, about like if we want that change or something. So I feel like making students a more central voice in like those big scheduling decisions and more like class decisions, where sometimes they just like use of space, obviously, and they stretch classes, but I feel like more decisions in the overall structure of our education.
Mostly, I would say the curriculum. I would love a student voice-led curriculum. Kind of seeing what they want to do, how it can focus towards their career paths and what they want to do in life. And I know a lot of kids have a problem with the passing time, sort of having it being too short.
To make school less stressful, I would think that an addition of a study block or just a free period in the day would really help, since a lot of kids are involved in student activities like sports and extracurriculars, and when they get home they don't have enough time to do that homework. So I feel like having that block in the schedule would really help kids get like a head start and not have to have so much homework and stuff after.
I'd say study hall. I take a lot of AP courses, a lot of honors, and there's so much homework. Sometimes maybe like a study hall would help us, or if we have like a group project and I can't meet with the person outside of school, then we can only work on that project in that period that we have, that one period. So maybe a study hall would benefit projects, like I said before, my dream day, benefit projects and just overall collaboration with students.
I think if teachers had better communication, so they didn't all schedule same big tests and big projects or anything due on the same day throughout the week, then we would have less stress, less homework, less things to focus on, so we could take things one at a time.
Seeing all the homework that kids have nowadays, kind of limiting the amount of time and the amount of work that kids have, and if they are going to have a decent amount of homework, at least have it be stuff that actually helps them instead of all this busy work that teachers, have been giving out.
Probably a little bit less homework, definitely. I definitely think there's a little much for kids our age. Being a teenager is hard enough already, and especially with extracurriculars and just life, it's hard to do 5 hours of homework when you get home and go to bed at 2 in the morning. It's definitely tough, and that makes things very stressful.
If I had to redesign one part of the school, I would probably use the space that we have, the couches and all that stuff, and make it into classrooms, because I know a lot of teachers, they bop around rooms and they don't have like a designated spot. So maybe making that into a space that they can use. I think maybe that would help them.
I would definitely probably separate the middle school from the high school, and like almost like it could be in the same general area, like the same land, but I feel like having middle schoolers, kids at such a young age in the same building as like legal adults, it's a little weird. Definitely being in the same like hallways with them and seeing them, it's kind of strange, especially for the younger kids. If I was a younger kid, I'd be pretty scared. So I think that could be something, not that we could do now, but to just keep in mind.
One thing I would change is light switches. Some of the light switches here don't work. It's kind of funny, brand new. But some of the light switches don't work. Some heating doesn't work. So, one class wearing a t-shirt, next class I have to wear a sweater. So stuff like that I would really want to have changed.
I'd also probably change the way some of the classes are set up, because certain rooms we don't have certain rooms. So some teachers are on carts or they're in closets as their office because we don't have enough rooms in the school. So I'd probably change that. For example, some of the drama practice rooms for singing, actually all of them are taken up by guidance counselors and other school faculty members because we don't have enough rooms for them. And it's hard for them because they might not want to be in a small tiny office like that, and it's hard for kids who might be singing because we don't have room to practice.
To redesign the school, I just think that it shouldn't have been a middle high school. The transition from middle school to high school is like a big transition, and for me it just felt like going to the other side of the building. It wasn't an actual transition that should have happened. I feel like it should have been 2 separate buildings, and this building itself doesn't feel like a high school. There's no school characteristic to it that is like any other high school around here. It just feels like an office building. It's just so bland and doesn't have that character.
I would say projects. As a student here, I like projects. I like working with my fellow classmates. I think they're really important for like teamwork and collaboration, which are hopefully a big thing here in Westport.
Honestly, I'm not good with waking up in the morning, so it would probably start a bit later. It would be filled with more things like hands-on activities. I enjoy labs in class, so stuff like that. And preferably not a lot of homework, and unless like I didn't finish something in class, but I would have free time back at home.
A school day filled with specialized individual classes with courses that are like focused on a career path that I would like to choose, like having a opportunity for a STEM-centered school day or schedule would be awesome.
My dream school day would look like I'd come here maybe a little bit later than 7:30 in the morning. I'd probably want to start with my academic classes, and I like my electives to be broken up from my academic classes, so I have like a break in between them throughout the day. I think that's something that can help a lot of students. Like, it's kind of like a brain break for you from actual work and stuff.
I'd say happiness. I feel like happiness is very important for everyone, and just like the collaboration, as I've said before, of students and students and teachers and even admin, just like a pure joy, I would say, to be at the school would definitely be important to me.
I would like to see students getting the opportunity to take more courses or classes throughout their year so they can, whatever they need to do for after high school, do whatever path they want to take, they can like fulfill their interests there, they can, I don't know, get more credits. If you're choosing college, build a college resume and stuff like that.
I would love to see students getting more individual learning opportunities, more focused school curriculums, like I said, based off of their choices and desires for their careers in the future.
I'd want to see definitely the medicine program. That would totally make me like super excited and happy for the future children that will be joining the medical career. But I'd also like to see people just more together, people getting along more, people more united, like as a school, getting along. You know, we're all people in the end. We might be different, but we're all people, and we all belong to Westport, so.